Hi cuties! So finally the time is upon us. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 has released, if you got the digital deluxe edition upgrade, and your boy obviously secured such a thing. So now we must discuss it. For those of you who are completely unaware, I am the greatest Tony Hawk reviewer of all time, and I discussed this game originally a few months ago where I went over some things that looked a little shaky, like the lack of a true career mode in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, but I'm sure most of you are already aware about that whole situation, so who gives a damn. To be fully transparent, I haven't like 100% of the game with all the extra challenges and whatnot, but I just wrapped up doing every single goal on every single map, and now I'm starting to work on those extra challenges for fun, so I guess you could say this is more of a first impressions video rather than a review, since the game isn't even technically out for everybody, but whatever, my opinion matters the most anyways. Now I will say, this video might be all over the place, because I am super passionate about this series, so just bear with me, okay? I'm not really writing a script here, I'm just yapping from the heart. Firstly, I want to talk about everything this remake does well, which is a lot of things, believe it or not. I mean, the presentation is obviously phenomenal. I knew this firsthand from the Foundry demo that came out a few weeks ago, and obviously all the trailers leading up to this game's release. Grinding shit and seeing the effects all over the screen is so dope, and that happens in some area on every single map in this game. I mean, the icicles in Canada, confetti all over the place on the college map. I mean, they made these classic peak levels feel even more alive, and for that I applaud the developers Iron Galaxy 100%. Graphics aren't necessarily important to me when it comes to these Tony Hawk games. I mean, I still go back and play the older ones, no problem, because at the end of the day, the gameplay is the most important aspect, but I am happy to report that the gameplay is also mostly great as well. I mean, if you love the 1+2 remake gameplay, it's the same shit here. I will say here and there, I kept getting these weird little glitches, like these hip transfer animations. They would just magnetize me to weird spots and make me bail out. Not a big deal, because overall everything else is the same for the most part. A small nitpicky thing for me gameplay-wise was the sound design for the grinds. It all sounds a little bit too clean, for the lack of a better word. In recent time, I've been addicted to Rethawed, which is the American Wasteland overhaul mod thing that lets you use sound effects from any Tony Hawk game ever, and it really makes you appreciate the sound design in the classics that all have a different feel to them, you know? But in this game, it feels like no matter what, if you grind on wood, concrete, metal, it's all just like the same smooth ass sound. I can't quite describe verbally. It's something you really got to experience for yourself, I guess. Once again, I know it's a small nitpicky thing, but I'm an OG fan, and it's just something to listen out for if you guys ever do decide to play this shit, you know? I guess I should just talk about each game's portion one at a time, starting with Pro Skater 3, and I mean, wow. This might be the definitive way to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 at this point for me. I was one of those weirdos that had a strange affinity for the PS1 and N64 port of Pro Skater 3. I just really appreciate that OG Tony Hawk engine with the foggy maps and whatnot, and also I grew up poor as fuck, so it's all I had for a while. But in this remake, they livened up every single map and made them so fucking fun to skate on. It might just be the only way I play Tony Hawk 3 from here on out when I want to run through it again, you know? I'm of the opinion that Pro Skater 3 has some of the best levels in the entire series. Airport, Suburbia, Cruise Ship are all so fucking fun to revisit, and those three in particular are amazing here. Fuck that little airplane with the cash on it in Suburbia though, that thing is a bitch to grab for no reason. But yeah, I mean, I feel the same way with the 1 and 2 remake. Like, if you're someone who has never played those games before, that is the ultimate way to drop in. Yes, pun intended. They did remove some of the sillier things, like the guy taking a piss in the Canada level, and also there are no element boards in this game at all. I don't know what the fuck is going on with that, but weird. Also, for some reason, you can't equip Nikes on a custom skater, but obviously skaters like Yuto and Nigel Houston have theirs, so I don't know what the fuck is going on with that either. But yeah, I think Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3's portion is almost a flawless remake. I can't really complain too much. However, I will say I don't like hearing Pro Skater 4 songs while playing on a Pro Skater 3 map. It's just blasphemous in my brain, but we gotta go deeper on the soundtrack in general later, trust me. Let's just move on to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, because I have much more to say. Man oh man, what a video game. Forever going to be in my top 5 skateboarding video games ever made, and honestly, it's in my top 10 video games period. This is going to be more of a nuanced conversation with a lot of emotion involved and nostalgia, so let's just rip the fucking band-aid off, okay? This game is so jarring to play, I'm not gonna lie. Seeing a 2-minute timer on Alcatraz, playing Kona as a competition level, just feels so fucking wrong. And for those of you who have been completely living under a rock or simply don't understand my disdain, long story short, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 used to have an open-ended approach to these levels, and was the first game in the series to get rid of the 2-minute timer from the first 3 games, and it allowed you to knock out challenges how you see fit. But with this remake, remaster package thing, they gave Pro Skater 4 the old approach and took out so many challenges in the process. They kept some of the heavier hitters in, like the sketching of the sports car on College, or sort of remixed them in a way, like how they made you free the ghost prisoner in Alcatraz instead of doing tricks for them, like in the OG, and it's like, yeah, cool way to acknowledge them, you know, but you could have just kept it way more faithful in my eyes and just, you know, not fucking change it at all. And I'm definitely not of the opinion that everything had to stay exactly how it was, you know? I wasn't joning for grocery cart gameplay. I just feel like those original challenges were quirky, weird, and gave Pro Skater 4 so much charm that honestly was never replicated in the later entries. You can't even go around and do the silly shit like play tennis with a monkey or baseball, you know? I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and act like it all aged the best, like fuck that Kona mission where you coffin down through the cones, but at the end of the day, it was in the original game, and goddammit, it deserved to piss off a new generation of gamers as well. Like I said earlier, Kona and Zoo are now competition levels, as well as one of their newly fresh made levels, Movie Studio. Great map, might I add. Honestly, I was pleasantly surprised to see how well Iron Galaxy did here, and I truly believe they've shown they have what it takes to perhaps make a fresh entry in the franchise, Pro Skater 6 if you will. They made some very weird changes to Zoo though, gutting it of so much personality. They made it a nighttime map, fine, I guess. They took out the elephants, got rid of the aquarium section, and once again, no monkeys. What kind of zoo is this, bro? It feels so empty and lifeless, and it ruined one of my favorite maps from the entire franchise that had so many fun challenges in it. London also became a nighttime map, which is fine because it was also like that in the PlayStation 1 port, but once again, no elephants there either. They changed it to a dude in an elephant costume. I want real elephants, okay? Sorry, I'm just fucking around. But yeah, these changes feel so weird to me, and yes, maybe I'm just being a boomer that can't let go of the past, but you cannot convince me that the new version of Zoo is better, or that Kona exists better now that it's a simple competition level that you can get the gold medal in approximately 90 seconds max. Not to mention they opted to not include Chicago, which I know technically isn't a real Pro Skater 4 map, don't come at me bitch, but they also threw Carnival in the trash. I mean, now you crossing the line, bro. That map is so incredible, and the tunnel thing scared the shit out of me as a kid. It needs to be back here. Although they did create 3 new levels for the Pro Skater 4 portion, it still should have had these 2, and fuck it, even the PS1 port maps, I'm sorry. I simply can't call Pro Skater 4's remake the definitive version with all these removals and changes, despite the gameplay being so crispy. I just can't. Sorry, I'm getting worked up, I forgot to talk about the other new levels, Pinball and Water Park. Now, they showed Water Park off a lot and even put it on the cover of the game, which I guess shows how confident they were in it, and they should be. This map is a banger. It feels like it could have fit right in back on the PS2 port, and I love it, honestly. All the water slides are super fun to grind down, and the challenges had a nice variety and challenge to them. Pinball, on the other hand, not my favorite. Now, I know this might be a bit of a hot take, but I do not like these absurd-ass map designs. This feels like a Thug Pro mod map or something from Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure, dog. I just can't do it. Way too much happening on the screen, and the challenges just weren't that fun for me. I probably will not be revisiting this map anytime soon. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I mean, we had to sacrifice Carnival for this? Why? All in all, man, the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 portion of this remake specifically could have been something special. Seriously. Like I said, it didn't need every single thing from the original, but was it too much to ask for the original game design choice of having each level be open-ended? I don't think so. So many stinky gamers are opting to not purchase this game for that reason alone, and to be quite frank, I don't really blame them. Yes, I love this fucking franchise and I want to see it succeed, so that's why I opted to purchase this game, but knowing we could have had something genuinely special here breaks my heart. What squandered potential this is. For that reason, I'd have to say, just stick to the OG Tony Hawk 4, whether you emulate it, played a PC port with the fan fixes, I just think it's the better version overall. Not to mention, if you love that original soundtrack from 4, sorry buddy, you're getting 4 tracks from it. Yes, ironically, 4 songs from the OG Pro Skater 4 make it here, and while I know they added similar songs from the same bands and artists in certain cases, why not just keep the fucking soundtrack the same at that point? They also only have 6 songs from Pro Skater 3, but at least it was more of the essentials there, like 96 Quite Bitter Beings, but there's so much new shit on the soundtrack, and while a lot of it is great, like shout out Kenny Hoopla getting a nod, and even Mick Gordon's tracks from Doom really fit well in here surprisingly. Like 75 to 80% of the original soundtrack being gone here just feels like Activision trying to save some money, honestly. The original Tony Hawk soundtracks are known for being iconic and amazing and shaped a whole generation, so the fact that 80% of these soundtracks are just absent it's pitiful. I hate having to complain so much about one of my childhood favorites being brought back to the limelight in any capacity, but I always gotta keep it real, and when something doesn't feel right, I have to yap to y'all about it in a fair way. My complaints may seem a bit nitpicky in certain areas, but most of them, like the soundtrack omissions and the reversion of the original Pro Skater 4 game designs, are valid. This isn't a bad video game in the slightest, and if it's somebody's introduction to Pro Skater 3 and 4, it's not like they're gonna die playing it, but it sucks knowing this could have been one of the best remakes of all time, like the 1+2 remake was, and now it's probably just gonna go down as a huge what if in the Tony Hawk community. There's a lot of good here. The skater roster is great, and I love all the secret shop items, but man, some of it just almost feels a bit lazy. I hate to use the L word because Iron Galaxy have obviously busted their ass making these levels look gorgeous, but even simple shit like the way you customize your character in Pro Skater 4 looked better standing in an actual skate shop that you can skate as well in between levels. I mean, the soul like that it's just not really there anymore, man. I'd like to end this review on as much of a positive note as I can by saying for only $50, this isn't a horrible package, and as I previously stated, it might be the best way to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 at this point. Hell, if you look at it like just a Pro Skater 3 remake with a free Pro Skater 4 DLC attached, maybe that'll help, but I just can't get over how different Pro Skater 4's portion feels, and that breaks my heart. The new levels are great that they designed, the modern skater roster is incredible, shout out Zion Wright, Jamie Foy, Tyshawn Jones, the GOATs, but man, it's just not really Pro Skater 4. This might be wishful thinking, but maybe one day, if this title sells well, maybe they drop a classic career mode for Pro Skater 4 as a DLC, because I know they've seen all the backlash. Hell, they reverted their decision on leaving out Bam Margera simply because of all the hate they received. Big Boy Tony had to step in and make them change their fucking minds. At the end of the day, I got some new Tony Hawk video gaming to play, so maybe I should just shut the fuck up and continue to play it. But as far as the Certified Ripper ranking system goes, I would love to plug the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 remake in at a solid, fair 7 rips out of 10 rips. That's really about it though, my cuties. Tell me, what are y'all thinking about this remaster down below though? Did it live up to your expectations, or are you heartbroken just a tad bit like I am? Talk to me. Drop a 900 on the like button, perhaps Froggy Grind on the subscribe, and I love you guys. Bye!